Here's some cute kitty action for you. Little tuxedo cats. Ooh. So in full disclosure, here's the bus motor after the road trip. I had somebody that wanted to buy this motor when we got back into town. He's got a 68 bus and he wants to purchase this motor. So the deal is when we were on the trip, here's the carbonator. I'll show you the jet that fell out. Here, let me open this up. Anywho, you got these idle jets. One's apparently the back one there is a transition jet, this one, and the front is your idle jet on this particular type carburetor. And about 40 miles out of Orangeburg, this jet fell out at about 70 miles an hour, and the bus will go 80. You know, with the single port, it'll go up to 80. I don't recommend it. That's about 4,500 RPM. But with this jet out, it only goes 60 miles an hour, and we had to drive it like that for about 25 miles, and I wasn't sure if it hurt the motor or not, so I wanted to take the top end of the engine off and take a look at everything. And it's not that much work to pull one of these down, so I pulled the piston cylinders off, and the top of the cylinders looked really good. I just machined the tops of those, took a little bit off, and cleaned the heads up, lopped them in. Everything looks good. I don't have any leaks, and everything looks great. I'm going to lower the compression. I'm going to put some 90 thousandths spacers under the barrel, and that'll lower our compression a little more. I thought this motor had spacers on it, but it didn't have spacers. And when we got out on the road, I was eating premium pretty regular. So I did get one scratch in this one piston here. It's not that bad, but the rings are still real nice. You can see the black line on there, so the rings haven't even worn in yet, and it's only got about 3,000 miles on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some new push rod tubes on there, and like I said, lower the compression and bolt it back together. And I'm gonna take the single port out, and we're gonna go ahead and put this dual port in over here. This is the motor I built last week, and this is a dual port 1600, stock crank, balanced rods, stock cam. We'll dig up an oil pump for it. Pretty much stock motor with K-Drons is what we're gonna do here. K-Drons header and an 09. And I might put an oil sump on this one for a little extra capacity. And a couple people asked me what a sump is. Let me see if I can find it. I know I had it out here somewhere fitting it. Wow. Seems to be, there it is over here. Here's a small sump. This is a 1.5 quart. They make bigger ones. They make a 4 quart like I have on my race car, and that would probably be best for a bus. You know, you get 8 quarts of oil that way. But it goes on like that. You extend the pickup tube. This bolts to the base of the case, and then your strainer plate bolts here, and gives you a little extra oil capacity, and lets the motor cool a little better. So I might incorporate that, being that it's in the bus, and yeah, so that's where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell this one. The guy wanted to buy it, and I'll let it fly, because it's what he wants, and I got another one to put in there. So, but anyway, that's what they look like after you run them real hard. We ran this one at 4,000 RPM for pretty much about 12 hours, and it's got a little bit of deposits in there. Nothing too bad. That's probably from the mid-grade gas, I would imagine, but I don't see any detonation. Everything looked really happy. And this cylinder here had a small leak. You can see it right here on the top of the cylinder. You can see where the black is, and that happened when it pitched that transition jet out. You know, it started running a little bit lean, so got the head loose, and top cylinder's leaking there. So we'll machine that down a little bit, make those both flat, same length, and we'll machine the head. We'll put this one back together with a little less compression, and I think it'll be fine. This is an inserted case, 8mm stretchy studs, and if it wouldn't have had those inserts, or it would have had 10mm studs, we would have been stranded, and South Carolina would have pulled the stud out. Because that's not easy on them when you lose that jet with a single carburetor. You know, you're very limited on the fuel. Doesn't want to transfer the fuel over to the Venturi part of the carburetor. It's just running off the idle circuit trying to pull the little bit of fuel that it can out. But I ended up swapping the jet over and putting some toilet paper with a screw in the idle jet circuit, and that got us there no problem. The other thing that happened was the rear pan came unbolted, and the throttle tube slid up and caused it not to have full throttle. I had to take the throttle linkage apart and pull the tube out, and we got all that fixed at the race before we headed back. But you know, normal stuff. You got to be prepared to do a little bit of maintenance if you're gonna run these hard. And that's pretty much what I'm doing today, just cleaning this mess up. I'm gonna get this all back together, and got the little procedure tomorrow at the same day surgery center. Gotta go do that, and then Wednesday we're gonna prep this to take up to the Volkswagen meet Thursday night and have a little fun up there. So I gotta dig this out, get this cleaned up, and get a battery charged up for it, put some gas in it and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try to get Noel to bring a couple race cars up there in his street car so we can have some funsies. Anyway, I'm going to shut this off. Hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching the videos. Had a good time. A little ragged today. Got the bad headache from the road headache, I guess. I don't know. And Chip had a really good time. That was his first Volkswagen race. And I'm sorry I didn't get more race footage, but I was running around with Noel. Golf cart was being occupied, so I was having to do a lot of walking and stuff, and it sort of wore me down. But next time we go to the races, I'll set the camera up on the starting line and get a couple sessions of the Pro Mod class and the Pro Stock class. They mixed them together this time, I do believe. They raced the nitrous cars, the turbo cars, and the Pro Stockers all in one class. So that's was a pretty fun race. They changed a few things around, but it was still really fun. It was really hot, but other than that, I had a really good time, and much needed getaway. So there's a bus show this weekend in North Carolina. We might go to that. I don't know. Might check that out. It's up by Virginia, on the North Carolina, Virginia. It's in the high country, and it's a pretty big bus show. So we might throw that one in there and go right up there and check out that show. Chip said he wouldn't mind going. So somebody wanted to know why we didn't sleep in the bus, and it's just so hot. And this thing's not set up to sleep in quite yet. You know, it's more of a day camper. And I gotta get this where it folds down and make a bed and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'd rather stay in a hotel as long as they're like 40 bucks, $50. It's not too bad if you split it with somebody and you get a good night's sleep, good shower, and you feel a lot more refreshed the next day. You know, sleeping in the bus is sort of roughing it, and I'm really looking to do that on this trip. So got to clean the inside up. Did get a little dirty here, not too bad. A little spare tire action there, and blanket, stuff like that, normal on the road stuff. And all the stuff I brought for spares, the distributor, the spark plugs, the release bearing, the push rod tubes, all that stuff, didn't use any of it. And what I needed, I didn't have. I didn't have a spare idle jet. So I did grab a carburetor before I left, and I threw it back in the box because I wouldn't think that I would need it. That's a fairly new carb, but that's something if I was gonna be a road trip kind of guy that I would consider taking, is some of those idle jets. You know, if you can find a parts carburetor or something, make sure you grab a couple of those, because once you're on the road, man, it's hard to find a Volkswagen carburetor. You're not going to AutoZone and picking one of those up. You can get a junk carburetor pretty cheap. And there's the jet right there that you need. That's the one that apparently falls out sometime. I've been doing this quite a while and never had that happen. But I don't run a lot of stock carburetors, and yeah. So, of course, it fell out when I was following Scooter, you know. It's always, you know, when you're running them hard, stuff like that happens. But yeah, and I want to thank Buster and his wife and Scooter for stopping and helping us. A lot of times when you're on the road, you're on your own, and I appreciate them helping us out, making sure we made it to the race. And Owen up there in South Carolina, I want to say thanks for the idle jet. So there we go. Let me upload this. We'll get out here, pop these cylinders off, reseal the barrels, get the parts cleaned up, put those spacers on, dump the oil out of this, and make it a long block. So, and we're gonna go ahead and deliver it. I'm gonna go over to Knowles tonight, take my well, maybe tomorrow night, Monday. I'll go over, I don't know, I gotta pick a night to go over there. He said I could use the mill to machine those valve covers. So we're gonna go over there and mill that earson off the top of the valve covers for the big block, get that finished up, and stuff like that. So anyway, let me cut this off because it's getting long. A lot of nothing. Clean up some parts, and put this baby back in the bus. Or put the other one back in the bus, I should say. But I gotta call the guy up right now and see how complete he wants this thing. So I do have another mount, and I don't know if he has any sheet metal or generator or fuel pump or any of that stuff. So typically a long block's the best way to buy them because it starts adding up if you got to put all the accessorize on them. So anyway, it's pretty good in there. I don't see much going on. Little piston slap at the top there. Those are those blue and yellow piston cylinders, and they seem to have excessive piston to wall clearance. And you can see that one on the turnaround there slapping the top of the cylinder around. That's sort of low mileage to have that kind of mark in there, but you can't feel it with your hand. But but this motor does run hard. If you got a bus, you know that. You know, 4,000 RPM is not easy on any engine. So all right, it's a beautiful day here. Little puffy clouds, Got the blue car over here. You got to fix this. Got a guy bringing a Bricklin in, putting this off because he wants me to keep his car inside. So once that leaves, we're going to pull the blue car apart and fix the deer damage in the front there, and throw a paint job on this, clean this up. So that's coming up, and we're going to do a light restore, I guess. Finish up the interior, finish all the stuff that I didn't finish last time, and repaint it, and try to make it more stock, I guess. I'm going to put a stock motor in it this time so I can sell it, because nobody wants to pay for the high performance stuff, and I don't blame them. It's not cheap, and you know, when you're just getting into it, you probably don't want that anyway. So we're going to go with the stocker in this one, and yeah, I got to get a glove box, a dash for it, finish up the interior. It's a scat carpet, new door panels and stuff, but it just needs to be cleaned up. So I might try to get some different seats for it too. I'd like to put these in the bus so it's more comfy. Anyway, rambling on. So you guys have a good one. Try to make a video, and try to have a great day. And remember, it's only the people that are unloved that are the haters. So love somebody, make the world a better place.